You're listening to The Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, and co-host Keelan Harvey on Alternative Talk AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage experts Tina Mitchell and Keelan Harvey.
You are listening to The Money Hour at 1150 AM KKNW, the Friday, May 15th virtual show. Because of the COVID-19, our show is temporarily moved virtually, but you can also listen to us on 1150 AM KKNW at 3 o'clock on Saturday and a rebroadcast on Sunday at 8 a.m. You can also catch us on podcast. I am your host, Tina Mitchell.
And I am your co-host, Keelan Harvey.
We are here to help you build a strong financial blueprint 1 week at a time. If you're hearing our show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast. We're here to connect with the guests that we have on the show. You can call the show at 1-855-400-1150 or go online to themoneyhour.com. And now in studio, Tony Sablan of Ultimate Wealth Strategies, LLC, a financial plan for times like this is our conversation with Tony right here on 1150 AM KKNW. Tony, welcome back to our show.
Hi, Tina. Thanks for having me. It's been a while since I've been on the show, so I wasn't sure how you're going to pivot for, the radio. This is a great, good option, I guess. The only option we have.
It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun, right? Well, we could be doing this without the video, but how fun would that be, right? Yeah. So a little bit about Tony. Tony is an advisor with New York Life. He is also the founder of Ultimate Wealth Strategies based in Bellevue, Washington, focusing on life insurance, investment, retirement, and estate planning for you, your family, or small businesses to identify your life goals and motivations. Tony has a vast team of specialists that will help you meet your goals. Not only does he enjoy helping people with their financial goals and dreams, he's passionate about his community through his involvement through areas of nonprofit. One of the unique things about Tony is that he is a mixed martial art coach at AMC in Kirkland and training alongside his current UFC champions, ONE FC's champions, and other world-class fighters.
Tony, so awesome to have you here. Fellow nightlife. I was with New York Life too back in the day, so I always love seeing your personal background is so interesting. Big MMA fan myself, so always awesome to have you here. What are you going to share with our audience today?
Thank you, Keelan. I'll be educating folks on building a financial plan for times like this. The impact of the coronavirus is unprecedented, and God bless those individuals and families that are dealing with the impact of the situation health-wise and financially. Tina and Keelan, you've heard me promote time and time again the virtues of a comprehensive plan, and it's unpredictable events like what we are experiencing that makes it even more important to focus on asset protection strategies. People work far too hard to accumulate wealth only to see it possibly disappear for circumstances beyond our control.
Tony.
Tony, what can people do?
We got a delay, folks. I'm sorry. It's so hard. Sometimes me and Tina just hop in there, and it's we just got to kind of stare at each other and figure it out. So, my bad. Your turn.
No, I'm gonna start looking at the chat button. I just see the chat right there. Comment. I'm gonna pay attention to that.
I did it on the last segment, so we're even. But I was just going to make a comment, Tony, on it's really interesting on times like these where people really finally start to think about the things that you preach. When we get into these troubling times and you really start evaluating your financial situation and the what ifs and, these things that would never, ever happen aren't going to happen to us. I mean, who would have thought we were sitting in a pandemic? And, that was probably the last thing I would ever think that would happen. And, for those that prepared, it's a nice pat on the back. And for those who haven't, I hope this is that realization where maybe it's time.
Yeah, I think it's
so true
to change how you think of your money. When times are good and people's confidence is at an all-time high, people tend to focus on spending and perhaps investing in risky investments. Oftentimes that spending and investing is played out over a shaky financial foundation, and that does not include income protection or life insurance. Therefore, the mind shift in the wake of the challenges we are dealing with needs to address the question: if I make this money and I get back on my feet, how can it be protected so that I have less restarts in life, or each time you restart in life, because each time you restart in life, it takes time and money to get back to where you were, where if you had just, done some very simple things, you'd be better positioned to withstand the storm that we're dealing with.
What about the income protection? Let's talk about that and the what most people don't know about life insurance.
Yeah, so we insure our cars, we insure our homes, we insure our cell phones, and we insure electronics, but rarely do we insure the income that bought those items, which means insuring the income you earn. And in a survey conducted by Ipsos, Americans reported on how much life insurance coverage they had and what they wanted it to cover in the event a family wage earner died prematurely. The results showed a significant shortfall in most cases. Americans are facing a 51% gap between the life insurance coverage they have compared with their self-reported needs. And, 2/3 of millennials say that having enough life insurance to protect their family is an important goal for them, but millennials with life insurance have only enough to cover 22% of their self-reported needs.
Wow, which I could see that could be very true. A lot of people undervalue life insurance, and it's so important. People go out there and insure your most valuable asset. That's you, the money you make for your family. So please, if you haven't figured that out, I mean, even a term policy is pretty darn cheap, and you could change your life, your family's life, if something unfortunately was to happen to you. We didn't think a pandemic was going to happen, and boom, here we are. So.
Oh, Keelan, you cut out. So you never know what's going to happen on a. Hey, Keelan, can you hear me? Okay, so this is just awesome, and this is really great. And this is if you're watching our Facebook Live show, or actually even better if you're listening to us on podcast and radio, you actually can't see anything that's happening right now. So this is life, and it's the fun thing about being on Zoom and being on video, and just go with it. Whatever it is, we're having a great time here, and technology is going to happen. Issues are going to come up, the wrong questions are going to come up, all kinds of great things. But put yourself out there, get live, which we are, and go with the flow. So while we're trying to figure out, Keelan, let me just jump into the next question here, Tony. So what do you see most when you're meeting with people right now?
So what I see most is that most professionals and business owners I meet are over concentrating their wealth in one asset class, and that could be either their job or business or their favorite stock. And rightfully so. When you work in your job, that is 100% return on yourself, and when you reinvest in your business, it can potentially yield a higher return than any stock or other investment can produce. However, what this also means is that if you work for a company and you own that company's stock, then you're exposing yourself to risk with the company's stock. And if a potential job loss is on the loom, not only has your stock gone down, but also your salary has disappeared. So it'd be prudent to diversify some of your savings to uncorrelated investments or accounts so they can give you peace of mind for times like this.
I'm back, guys. I'm sorry. Your co-host has failed you miserably today. So I tried to swipe to his questions, and I know we have to stay on task with him because he's scripted, and I shut myself off. Who does that? So I knew something had to happen on these virtual meetings eventually, and I hope it wasn't me first. But my bad. I did not hear the last question that you left off. Yes, please.
Okay, perfect. So we left off with meeting folks. So Tony, what can people do to begin to think differently about their money?
So people need to think of their financial plan as something like a pyramid. We save and invest with the aim of building assets for the future so that there'll be funding for goals like buying a home or condo, paying off student loans, having a family. What many overlook is that the entire pyramid rests on a foundation, and that foundation is the money you earn, your income. So health is your wealth as well. So your ability to work or run your business and earn an income is what supports the rest of the things in your life. And, protecting that income is important. So seeking out information on income protection, investing in uncorrelated assets. Those are some of the things that lay the foundation for you to feel confident to invest more aggressively in either your favorite stock or investment or your business.
Makes a lot of sense. Tony, what happens after the income is protected and the right amount of life insurance is taken care of?
So once you have a solid foundation for your income and family, you have more confidence in investing in stocks, as I said earlier, bonds, or even real estate, because those are things that ebbs and flows with the market. I mean, Wells Fargo put out a big article saying they're not giving people loans on their own home, their own asset, right? So it is important to diversify your holdings because far too often, as I mentioned earlier, people are over-concentrated in their investment holdings because it is what they know and it's been working for them. I think it's safe to say that with this pandemic, everything has been affected, including real estate, both commercial and residentials are feeling the pinch. So, there are still places to put money where it's uncorrelated, and it's just a matter of having an open mind, if you will.
Yeah, great advice, Tony. Thank you so much for joining us on our Facebook Live radio/podcast show. It's always a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That was fun. So.
That was awesome. Coming up next on the Money Hour, virtually moving. Is that a thing? We have Lori Lamoureux of Seamless Moves right here at 1150 AM KKNW.